How has Hamas, a relatively small political organization, managed to exert such significant influence in the Middle East? This is a question that has puzzled many. To understand the answer, we need to delve into the rise of Hamas as a political and military force in the Middle East. Hamas, initially known for its social services, has over time developed an uncanny ability to wield power far beyond its size. A key aspect of this power lies in its military capability, specifically its ability to build a large arsenal of homemade rockets. These are not sophisticated military-grade weapons, but rather simple, yet effective rockets built using civilian materials. This was evident in the recent Israel-Hamas conflict, where a vast majority of the rockets were short-range, unsophisticated, and homemade. But how does Hamas achieve this? A significant part of the answer lies in the expertise they've acquired from Iran. Despite being a small political organization, Hamas has managed to secure Iranian funding and instruction, enabling them to produce rockets with ranges of 200 kilometers or more. This has allowed Hamas to increase both the quantity and quality of their rockets since the 2014 conflict, enhancing their military prowess. Yet this is a double-edged sword. The low cost of these weapons and the need to rebuild Gaza after the conflict present a unique challenge to Israel and the international community. The challenge lies not just in preventing Hamas from restocking its military arsenal, but also in providing aid to Gaza. This calls for effective on-the-ground monitoring, a task that Hamas may not permit, and finding a better way to supervise the use of imported goods. So, we see that Hamas's influence extends far beyond its size, due in large part to its ability to leverage civilian materials and outside expertise to build a formidable arsenal. This, in essence, is the mystery of Hamas's influence. The recent conflict between Israel and Hamas brought this challenge into sharp relief. The conflict, which has seen a surge in tensions, was marked by a significant increase in rocket attacks. The majority of these rockets, interestingly, were short-range, relatively unsophisticated, and homemade. This signals a shift in strategy for Hamas, opting for quantity over quality in an attempt to overwhelm Israel's defenses. This is not a new trend. Since the conflict in 2014, both Hamas and Islamic Jihad have been steadily increasing the quantity and quality of their rockets. This increase is not just in numbers, but also in the diversity of their arsenal. Despite the majority of the rockets being short-range and homemade, there are reports suggesting that Hamas has been receiving Iranian funding and instruction to produce rockets with ranges of up to 200 kilometers or more. What is perhaps more concerning is that Hamas has claimed to have developed its own expertise in rocket production. This means that even without outside help, Hamas has the potential to continue producing these weapons, making the task of curbing this threat even more difficult. The conflict also highlighted the challenges for Israel and the international community. The low cost of these homemade rockets and the need to rebuild Gaza present a unique challenge. How does one meet the basic needs of the people in Gaza while preventing materials from being used for military purposes? The answer to this question is not straightforward and requires on-the-ground monitoring, something that Hamas may not permit. This recent conflict has shown us the lengths to which Hamas will go to assert its influence and the challenges that Israel and the international community face in responding. As we move forward, finding a better way to monitor and supervise the use of imported goods in Gaza will be crucial in preventing future conflicts. The question now is, how can Israel and the international community prevent Hamas from restocking its military arsenal while providing aid to Gaza? The crux of the matter lies in the delicate balancing act of meeting basic needs of the people in Gaza, while ensuring that materials are not diverted for military purposes. This task is indeed a conundrum, considering Hamas's ability to build a large arsenal of homemade rockets with civilian materials and outside expertise. An essential part of the solution involves on-the-ground monitoring. Yet this is easier said than done. Hamas may not permit such oversight, creating an obstacle for those aiming to ensure that humanitarian aid does not end up fueling further conflict. The challenge doesn't end there. The need to find a better way to monitor and supervise the use of imported goods is paramount. The current situation as it stands is akin to a cat-and-mouse game, with Hamas constantly innovating and finding new ways to use civilian materials for military purposes. On the other hand, we have countries like Iran and Qatar. Their role in the equation cannot be ignored. It is widely believed that Hamas receives substantial funding from these nations. Iran, in particular, is suspected to provide not just financial support, but also the technical know-how to produce rockets that can reach as far as 200 kilometers. These countries present another layer of complexity to the challenge. How can their influence be curtailed without causing undue political strife? And how can the international community ensure that their aid does not inadvertently contribute to the militarization of the region? The challenge is a complex one, but one thing is clear: the international community must find a way to balance its humanitarian obligations with the need to prevent further militarization. This balance is not just about Israel and Hamas, or about politics. It's about the lives of innocent people caught in the crossfire and ensuring they can look forward to a future where peace is more than just a fleeting dream. So, what have we learned about Hamas and its influence? Well, we've unraveled the mystery behind the organization's ability to amass a significant arsenal using seemingly ordinary civilian materials, coupled with external expertise. We've seen how the recent Israel-Hamas conflict underlined this capability, as the majority of rockets fired were short-range, unsophisticated, and homemade. We've delved into the complexities of preventing Hamas from restocking its military arsenal, while also ensuring that aid reaches the people of Gaza. This conundrum calls for a delicate balance, meeting the basic needs of the people, while ensuring that the materials provided are not diverted to military use. The challenge ahead is formidable. It requires on-the-ground monitoring, which may not be welcomed by Hamas. It also necessitates the development of more effective methods to supervise the use of imported goods. This is a significant hurdle, but not an insurmountable one. While the path forward is fraught with challenges, understanding the nature of Hamas's influence is the first step in navigating a path towards peace.